Welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Well, let's see here. Oh, boy, have I got a bunch of stuff. Okay. Let's get out of here. And let's see. No unpleasantries about, so we'll block this off. Find the west. That's the sunrise. It means I'm going this way to the west and onwards to the FarLands. Assuming, of course, I can find a safe way down to the level where the ground is. There we go. All right. Let's see. In keeping with the usual routine, the size of the world this morning is 5,735.15 megabytes. And this is the morning of the, 473rd Minecraft day since leaving spawn. Yeah, cheap chicken didn't even have any feathers. Anyway, let's see if this one does. Nope. Anyway, proceeding onwards here. Let's see. I have been on the busy side and still doing a lot of my keeping busy, and now, of course, after a recent video, you know why I've been keeping busy. Because I went on this binge about the 30th of March, I think it was. I decided I was going to do a big long stretch of smoke-free. And I did. I was originally just going to start out to go 30 days. That was the original goal, was to go 30 days. Which is, for me, a very, very, very long time. And somewhere along the way, fairly early on, I decided that, hey, you know, I've got a doctor's appointment coming up, such and such. Why don't I go all the way to that day? And so I did. And there were quite a few times when, to be perfectly frank, I hated myself for making that decision. But, you know, this is why a lot of the footage that I put in that quittage video was unusable. Because attitude, frame of mind, and choice of words in the clips that I had recorded that eventually got deleted was not exactly family friendly. So that had to go. Yeah, attitude was a huge issue and really bad, but I eventually got through it, and that's the longest time I've gone without a smoke since I started, all those years ago when I was 18. Yeah. And I'll be honest, yes, I've had a few cigarettes since then. However, no, I am not going back to what I was doing before with 3 packs a day. That's a lot. I mean, there's 20 cigarettes in a pack, so 3 packs a day. Shut up, cow, and get out of my way. So 3 packs a day is like 60 cigarettes a day. And if you express it like that, it seems like a lot more, and it should, because it is. And so instead of saying so many packs a day, actually figure it out and say how many actual cigarettes a day. It will actually, it gives you pause. It makes you stop to think, you know, that's a lot. 60 of these things in one day is a lot. It is. And, yeah. So, yes, I've had one occasionally since the end date. But I'm also thinking about something else, too. Another long stretch of smoke-freeness. I'm not sure when I'm going to start it, but I think I'm going to. And this time I think I'm going to start off with, instead of starting off with the idea of going 30 days, this time I will start off with the plan for 60 days. Yeah. Start off planning for 60 days. Get out of my way, cow. And go from there. Might even, I'm thinking, get on the routine, get going with it, and then find some interesting way to expand that, or, you know, not just, okay, I can get rid of these by making them into torches. There. All right. Now, yeah, there's still plenty of water up ahead, so let us boat. For a while, anyway. Yeah. And by the way, if you hear noises in the background, there is a very unusual situation going on. My neighbor there is some service truck or something or other in his front yard, and there is a certain amount of noise of motors and stuff being banged around and whatnot. I have no idea what's going on over there, and frankly, I don't care. Just the timing. It started right as I started Minecraft and started getting ready to record, and so I sat here for a while listening to it and thinking, gee, when is this going to go on all day? And apparently it's not, because it's gotten sufficiently quieter that I decided to go ahead and start my recording, because if I waited until the truck drove away, I could be sitting here until tonight, and that would produce lots and lots of necessarily undesired aggravation. It's one of the things that is key, in my opinion, or at least in my case. The key to being smoke-free, remaining smoke-free, or even just keeping yourself down to having maybe 1 or 2 a day or something like that, is the key to this is to keep aggravation to a minimum, because aggravation aggravation results in lighting up. That's just the way it is. It has always been that way, and that's because for me, the smoke has always been a soothing and relaxing thing, and yeah. So the aggravation inspires the smoke, or it gets you to, or me anyway, to light up as a way to relax, a way to get me off of the aggravation. And that should give you an idea of how much aggravation I have dealt with over the decades. And one of the ways that I deal with it, one of the big ways that I deal with the aggravation, to get it off of me and to keep it from ruining me and so on, is to have a smoke and a coffee, because they're calming, relaxing, and all that. Well, you know the story about most people, when they have their first cigarette, most people, the first time they have a cigarette, you know the routine. There is coughing, serious coughing fit, maybe a little turning green or blue or whatever, and, that sort of thing. Come on, Minecraft. Don't mess with me today. I'm not in the mood. That didn't happen to me. When I had my first cigarette, I had what I have come to learn is a somewhat atypical reaction. I liked it. I thought it was great. It was relaxing, soothing, peaceful, a great way to chill out. Just get your coffee, have a smoke, and relax. And so, for me, a smoke has always been a good thing. At least in terms of my reaction to it. I know it does nasty things to your lungs, and it's associated with heart disease, which I never quite got how they managed to get that connection. I really don't get where that connection comes in. How having a smoke is going to lead to heart disease makes no sense to me at all, because nobody's ever explained why. Everyone accepts that as a given, established fact, but nobody ever explains why. They just say, this is a fact. And people just go along with it because the people saying this is a fact are scientists and doctors. What the problem is what these folks don't do is explain. Oh, jeez. You're not going to bed your way across the ocean there, genius. But what nobody ever explains... Now, I will give you that it's bad for you. I'll even accept at face value that it is associated with heart disease and all this other stuff. I'll grant you these as established facts, but what I don't get and what I have never, ever seen is anyone explaining why this is the case. Doctors and scientists, they come along and say that smoking's bad for you. It causes heart disease and so on. But nobody explains why. You see, this has been going on for 30, 40 years. They've been talking about this crap. And the one thing that has stuck in my mind through all of this, you see, I'm a guy that asks why. And they didn't answer why. They just simply state this as a fact and expect you to accept it because they're wearing they're wearing lab coats and they got doctor in front of their name and fancy degrees and all this garbage and whatnot. And that's all fine and dandy. And it's great that they've got all that they've achieved all that. And I know it takes years and years of work to get to that. And, they've done the science and all this, but you know what they haven't done? They haven't explained the science. They haven't given the why. At least not that I have ever heard or seen. Ever. In my 58 years, I have never seen anybody explain why smoking is associated with heart disease. Did they just take a bunch of statistics and say, well, all these people that had heart disease were smokers. And so smoking is associated with heart disease because statistics. I don't know. What science is there? What is the why behind it? I know, this is a borderline rant, but it's the thing, When somebody tells me that something is good or something is bad or whatever, especially if it's something I don't like or it's something that I do like that I would have to give up, I want to know why. And, yeah. And when people just say this is so because science says so, you know, why does science say so? You know, there has to be a reason. There has to be something behind the declaration that it's bad. And I'm sure there is plenty of legitimate, good, thorough science about it. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen any scientists get on a TV health show or something like that and say, well, smoking is bad for you because, and then list a bunch of reasons. You know, I'll give you that it's bad for you. I'll go along with that. I'll give you. But the people saying it's bad have never explained why. At least not that I have ever seen. And believe me, I've looked. All they do is they say, this is bad for you. And then they point to pictures of nasty lungs. And they point to statistics that show how all these people who smoked, most of them have heart disease or this and that and the other. These are all legitimate, actual facts, I'm sure. But what I haven't seen is the why. Oh, well, I have got to get onto a different topic because I'm starting to rant. And I know some folks enjoy my rants, but sometimes I don't. I never meant to actually get off on that. It's just the topic just was right there, you know, and it just sort of happened all over the place. Anyway, like I said, I am going to do another X number of days smoke-free thing. And this time it won't be I'm doing it in the background and telling you all about it afterwards, because that cat is out of the bag, and that right there was the end of the diamond shovel. As a matter of fact, well, no, it's not the last diamond shovel. I have one last diamond. The last spawn diamond, as it were. Right there. So, let's pop this thing down here. And there we go. This is the last of the, I think it was about 37 diamonds that I had from spawn. And I had even made an iron shovel. I obviously didn't even look and see that diamond laying there. That's ridiculous. Yeah, so the last spawn diamond. Well, how about that? So the next time my shovel runs out, I will be using iron. Okay, that's cool. Who knows? Maybe, and I'm going to stress the word maybe, I might even go totally crazy and at some point in the not too awfully distant future decide that it's time to pause and dig a new branch mine all the way out here and who knows where and dig up some more diamond. I could even do that. That would be interesting. One would have to be extremely careful, because mining for diamond necessarily means being down near the bottom of the world, where there is lots of lava, and so on. Lighting would have to be key, you know. Of course, the way I dig a branch mine, the lighting is not a problem, because I use way more torches than I have to. I don't go with the minimal torches thing. I use them freely and frequently. So my mine shaft is always very well lit. Nothing spawns down there except for slimes. And let's see. Yeah, but the lava and whatnot, you never know when you hear the sound of liquid. Especially in this version, because this is before they did the sound update and gave lava its own sound. So when you're down at the bottom of the world in this version, if you hear the sound of water, it could be water, and it could also be lava. So one needs to be exceedingly careful, especially if one has gone 150 some episodes walking towards the farland without dying. You certainly don't want to start doing that. Yeah. And here we are with another nighttime event. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. And there we go. It took just long enough that the sun actually finished setting. How about that? Okay. Anyway, moving onwards. The weather. I knew it was coming. Oh, you so-and-so. But the spring-like weather with the temperatures in the mid to lower 70s, that didn't last very long. A couple of weeks, and now it's regularly hitting into the high 80s and the lower 90s. Not thrilled about that, but I suppose it's better than being in the 30s. But I don't know. I never liked hot weather. And then in the last 5 or 6 years, I got to the point where I hated cold weather too. It would just suit me fine if the actual temperature anywhere in the world was always right about 70 degrees. That would be just fine with me. But I don't suppose that's going to happen. So lately I've been running the air conditioner a lot. I waited as long as I could. But one day the temperature was up over like 92 degrees or something like that. And that was just too much. I'm sitting here, my fan was running full blast, and I was still hot and miserable. So that became the day about a week and a half ago when I said, okay, enough of this noise, and I went out and I put the air conditioner in the window and started it going. And I waited as long as possible because I know the way it goes. I start that thing up, and it runs pretty much almost constantly until mid-September, early October, or something like that. Yeah. It's not running right this minute because this morning when I started recording, the temperature was still in the mid-70s. It hadn't gotten up into the, I believe it's forecast for 89 today. So I figured I'd go ahead and turn it off and get some quiet time recording, because inside the next hour or so it's going to get warm enough that I'm going to want that thing back on again before it has a chance to get hot in here, because it's easier to keep it cooler than it is to get it cooler. Yeah. You know what? I bet I could probably stand to cut some more trees, you know? I really need to have this out there and grab some when I run across them. Like now. Okay. And let's go ahead and grab this one. And another one here. I hear you, zombie. And I'm not interested. I am not interested in your stuff at all. Let's see. Wool, I should get some of that too. Since there are some sheep right here. Get out of the way. There we go. Okay, get a few more of that and I'll be set. But I should really focus next time on collecting more wood, more wool. I like to build myself up to a full stack of each. And then when it gets down to like 3/4 or so, start collecting more. I don't want to use more than one inventory slot for each thing because it's really not necessary. I don't use that much of it, but building it up to, say, a full stack and then using it down for a while and get it down to half or 3/4 and start again. The problem is that it doesn't always quite work that way because I'll get busy yammering and talking about this or that, and next thing I know, I've gone an episode or two without collecting any, and I'm starting to run really low. Oh boy. Anyway, so I also have to say that I thank everybody for all of the supportive comments that were on the Quidditch video. I appreciate that no end. That's really cool. And that sort of thing is why the next time, I figured I've done the one thing with the 52 days. I'm going to do it again. And this time I'll do some, I'm going to start with the idea of going 60. Exactly when I'm going to start this thing, I have not decided yet. But it will probably be soon-ish. Because I don't want to take the chance of letting simple laziness and habit suck me back into doing like I was doing before. That's just not gonna cut it at all. Cannot be allowed to happen. Let's see. I really need to stop doing that too. Okay. Let's see. Getting into the early afternoon of this Minecraft day, which means I need to be paying attention to where there might be a place, a good place, to hole up for the coming night. So let's see. Well, there is fair amount of okay. There's good spots around here. I suppose I could have holed up there, really, because it's even facing the right direction. But that would mean giving up almost a half a day's worth of progress, so I want to keep going for a little ways. But I do need to keep an eye out for likely good spots. The sun is already in the western side of the sky. And here we go. Something like a sheer cliff that faces west, overlooking an ocean, a vast ocean, would be a great place. Of course, I don't see that happening. That sort of thing doesn't happen very often. I mean, that kind of setting happens a lot, but to come across it as I'm getting towards the end of the episode, the timing is, that doesn't often happen. And it looks like I'm going to be digging into the other side of this hill. Because we're getting in that direction, and yeah, okay, there's the first wave of sunset, the first light level drop, and there's the second one. All right, right here. And a torch there, another one here, and then do it right because they needed to be back one more. All right, let's close this up. Torch there, get this dug out. Okay. Okay, let's see. 3 beds, 3 boats, at least. Definitely more wood next time. Okay, 4 boats. What the heck. Alright. Looks like that's going to be it for this episode. And hopefully I can get around towards doing these things a little bit more frequently. Because right now it seems to be almost kind of haphazard. And that's not all that great. In any event, thanks for watching, thanks for your support, and thanks for listening to all of my ranting and raving. Take it easy. I am out of here.